Hello and welcome to vlog 8 of the religion of self-enlightenment. I have actually recorded both 7 and 8 on the same day, so excuse me for wearing the same clothes. I'm looking roughly the same. It takes a lot of time and energy to do these videos, as I'm sure you're aware, but I do try and do them in one take and just get them done and out of the way with. So if I can do 2 in 1, that would be brilliant. So far, for those who haven't been able to join us up until this point, we have a very boring man who has died in a car accident. Yes, he's died in chapter 2. That's quite brutal and quite sudden, and I'm sure you're wondering what's going to happen in this part of the book, given that the main character has died. Well, the surprise is he hasn't actually died. We rejoin our main character after he's been resuscitated, and he's now seeing a psychiatrist called Dr. Paul Turnstone. So I'll jump straight in with chapter 3. My heart was gone by the time I died. I know that now. Yet when I felt myself have no heartbeat, it was one of the most terrifying experiences of my life. I was not at all drunk and I was doing nothing wrong. Yet I couldn't stop it from happening. A man drove into the back of my car, and all of a sudden I was lying in the middle of the motorway, feeling my pulse slow and stop in my veins. I cried out for my mother, for Beth. I felt the reassuring presence of angels and light, and then one of the angel figures said that I should never ever worry again, and I was taken somewhere beautiful. There were angels or some kind of graceful figures moving towards an area with a huge floor. Everything was the colour of turquoise. There were statues of honoured people as tall as skyscrapers. Yet to get to that place they asked me to pass through a checkpoint. Light wasn't running straight, and it was nothing like Earth in terms of skin and rock and solidity. There was some type of angel standing in front of me. He was made of light, emotion and perception, and I was looked through as if I was the same. It asked me, "What is your name?" It was a question which had deep importance and resonance, and the answer was definitely not Carrick. I could not remember that name right then, but looking back now I understand that it was not the required answer. The name Carrick had been a temporary, vulgar label. It was not the name I needed to remember. I was asked to say the name of my eternal self. I could not remember it, and I was sent back here. So there we have the story of a man who dies and gets sent back to Earth. Now this is not a random, isolated incident. This has happened to millions of people. And one of the things I've learned during the promotion of this book is quite how common near-death experiences and paranormal experiences are. So many people have said to me, "Oh, when my sister died, I felt like she was with me all the time. I could smell her, I could hear her." And basically, I think a lot of people sense those that have died to still be here. That suggests an afterworld, and some people glimpse that afterworld, and then they return, which is logical if it's an actual place. That some people get close to it, but then as medicine and technology is developed, we're able to bring people back from dead and near-dead states more and more frequently, and it becomes more and more common that people will sense this world and feel this world and then don't know what to do with their experiences once they're back here. A lot of people miss that world and they're like, "Why did you wake me up? I didn't want to come back here," which is inconceivable to people who are scared of death and love life and are very familiar with being alive. A lot of people are terrified of leaving their bodies and this kind of thing, but some people report that they're never afraid of dying ever again. And in fact, a woman I met by the train station once really changed my life in a way, because she'd had a near-death experience which she told me about, and she basically said that she was never going to be afraid of dying ever again. And the most beautiful thing about her was her aura. She just had an aura of complete light, like, you know, it's actually quite striking. And her lack of fear of death like just resonated in everything she said, and I don't know if I have that. So do you know what I mean? It's like being taught by someone never to fear death or never to be afraid of things and that you don't understand, and like, okay, it's a journey, but who knows if it's to a good place or a bad place. And in fact, in my research for this book, I found that only 2% of people who have near-death experiences have a bad near-death experience. And that goes for people from all walks of life, like bankers, thieves, criminals, all this kind of thing. A lot of people have positive near-death experiences, regardless of their moral caliber and their religious stance, which suggests that God is not prejudiced about your actions or your kind of like your beliefs in this world. It knows who you are. It knows that you're a being of love through it all, which is clearly one of the most beautiful things anyone can ever conceive of. To be loved regardless of what you do and what you say and all this kind of thing. And it's not to say that there's no levels in the afterlife, and obviously I'm hypothesizing here, but it seems to me that it is a lovely place and that we do in some ways, and I'm going out on a limb here, belong there. Maybe in our true sense we're not all matter and physical beings, you know. Maybe in our true sense we are actually a spiritual entity. And this is fascinating to try and communicate through language, and it's one of the tests and the perils of being a writer. You know, you're trying to put into words things that can't be worded at all. They just can't be. So, you know, you might as well give up or give it a really good shot and hope that people can fill in the pieces that you're lacking. And what I find with this book is that people have their own pieces and they put the jigsaw together for themselves. Some people don't like the book, which is fine. They think it's boring and like this kind of thing. But every book has its critics, and some people can't put the book down and like read it in one sitting and it changes their life, and that's what it's there for. It's definitely a book from the heart, like, you know, and whether you respond to that or not, it's definitely up to you. I can't make you watch these videos, I can't make you engage with what I'm saying, and I wouldn't want to. But if you do want to go on a journey of discovery, then this is what I'm here for, I believe. Like, you know, that's all I really want to do, to find the truth of existence. And it's a bit of a broad aim, but I'm doing quite well with it, I have to say. I'm quite quietly impressed with the response from life itself when you're quite earnest about it. Like when you're like, I do believe in God and I would like to know what I'm doing here. Like the world, the universe does respond to that earnestness within you of just like, I really mean it, you know. And I've had so many experiences which have blown my mind, and the latest of which is like a medium telling me that I was going to be a celebrity, which is fascinating because this video gets what, 20 views maximum. And yeah, there's this belief, you know, and there's this kind of atmosphere around this book and my following books as well, which suggests that something could happen here, which is really, 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 really amazing. And I'd like you to stay with me on this journey, just to see what happens, really. If I fall flat on my face, or, you know, if it eventually does take off. And the thing that I feel most passionate about is that as I watch the world deteriorate and deteriorate and deteriorate, I start to feel and look more and more smart, you know. I've done it. I really have written a book that people need to read nowadays. And I've put 10 years of my life into this. It wasn't an overnight situation where I just woke up one day and just wanted to write a novel. It's been a precarious journey. And obviously I've fallen flat on my face in so many ways, in so many instances. I just can't even describe, like, but I get back up and, you know, I see what life has to bring for me. And I hope that you feel the same about your life, like no matter how many times you fall, you still get up and carry on with your journey, you know. And a lot of people stall with their journey, you know, because they're afraid, and that's one response to the pain that you feel as you go through the world. I'm not here to dictate to you how you respond to pain, obviously, but I am here to promote my book, and thank you for staying with me and reading up to chapter 3. He's come back to life. We'll see what happens next time. Bye.